Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I have a question for you. Should your state reopen or should it not? To reopen or not to reopen, there's a direct conflict not only between the federal government and different states like Texas, with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. There he is. What's up, Greg? Essentially saying, hey, Texas has to reopen 100% on the 10th of March. And there are states like Mississippi that are already reopening. But there are other states that are not reopening. So not only is this essentially a conflict between the federal government and states, this is a conflict between states because different states, including neighbors, have different policies on reopening. But what do you do when the state has a policy, but when private businesses who can institute their own policies decide that they want to keep the mask mandate? Texas decided to keep its mask rule. People threatened to call the immigration authorities on the staff. The owners, all US citizens, were threatened that they would be essentially deported, that immigration authorities would be called because they kept their mask rule. On your screen, you'll see the restaurant. This is the outside of Houston's Picos Mexican restaurant, and staffers faced threats after the restaurant announced it would continue requiring masks despite Governor Greg Abbott's lifting of the statewide mandate. I want to be clear. Private businesses can have their own requirements for you to do business with them. So the private business is well within their rights to say, hey, the mask mandate stays. But what is interesting, what is quite astonishing is the reaction, if you will, from certain individuals who are like, we don't need to do this anymore. The co-owner of that restaurant, Monica Richards, was very disturbed because they received several hateful messages through social media, and they called the restaurant threatening to report staffers to immigration and customs enforcement, which is ICE. Here's a quote from the owner, Monica Richards, the co-owner. It was just horrific. People don't understand unless you're in our business what it felt like, how hard it was to go through everything we went through during the pandemic. For people to be negative towards us, trying to remain safe so that the pandemic doesn't continue to happen, just makes zero sense to us. The spokeswoman for the Texas Restaurant Association, her name is Anna Tausen, she weighed in. She said, this is a decision business owners are making and it's right for them. For a group that touts personal responsibility is something key to good stewardship of your business. It seems strange that they might criticize or throw insults at people who are trying to do just that. It's alarming. Now, I want to be clear, and this is reporting from the Washington Post. Even though this mandate has been rescinded in Texas effective the 10th of March, the majority of Texas restaurant owners say they will continue requiring staff to wear masks, but they are not sure whether they're going to make the same demand of customers. And we are in a very interesting situation as a country because not only are different states lifting mandates, some states are keeping mandates, but different states have different approaches towards the vaccine. You've all heard about hopefully the new J&J vaccine, which is a single shot vaccine, which I believe could be a game changer. Now, the mayor of Detroit, Mike Duggan, turned down an allotment of J&J vaccine. On the other hand, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said, I'm going to take whatever vaccine is available to me when my category comes up. Very interesting comments. Let's roll the tape and hear from the Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, on her approach towards vaccines. And then I'll fill you in on some very interesting information, an interesting quote, if you will, from the Governor of Mississippi. Let's roll the tape and hear from the Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Let's watch.
Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan turned down an initial allocation of more than 6,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccine doses. Here's how he explained that decision. Take a listen.
So Johnson & Johnson is a very good vaccine. Moderna and Pfizer are the best. And I am going to do everything I can to make sure the residents of the city of Detroit get the best.
So to be clear, health experts say that's not the right approach. They say the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is very effective at preventing serious illness and death due to COVID. And people should get whatever vaccine they can if they have the opportunity. Now, Mayor Duggan has since tried to clean up those comments. Was it a mistake for him to turn down that vaccine shipment from Johnson & Johnson?
Well, let me start with this. It is nothing short of miraculous that we have got 3 safe and effective vaccines on the market in just under a year from when we saw our first cases here in Michigan. We're going to commemorate the year, the tough year that we've had on Wednesday. We will be around 16,000 deaths We've done incredible work, and the fact that we've got these vaccines is a miracle. I mean, it's really a testament to the commitment of the industry and our ability to come together to solve this problem. Mayor Duggan is doing phenomenal work in the city of Detroit. He's trying to do the best he can for the people he represents, and that's what he always does day in and day out. I think acknowledging that this J&J vaccine is another great tool in our arsenal is kind of where they are now, and deploying them is something they're going to do as well. So that's our philosophy across the state. Let's use every tool we have to get to that 70%.
But let's say that there's a resident of Detroit who gets an opportunity to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and says, oh, I don't know, Mayor Duggan said I should hold out for the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine. What's your message to that resident of Detroit?
Take that vaccine. I am going to take whatever vaccine is available to me when my category comes up. We are dropping our ages to 50 and up. If you have some sort of a health condition, starting tomorrow, they are now eligible, and 50 and up for everyone 2 weeks later. We want to make it easier for people to get vaccines, and when my number is up, I'll be in that next group after that. I will get whatever vaccine is available to me, because they all have high efficacy. They're all incredibly safe. And the quicker we can get to 70% of our population vaccinated, the quicker we can have some more normalcy in our day-to-day lives. And I know we all want that.
And as all this is happening, Texas is not the only state that is rescinding mask mandates. Mississippi is another state that is actually rescinding mask mandates. Here's the headline of an article on your screen from Axios. As always, you'll get the link to all of our resources in the description section below. The Mississippi governor defends lifting the mask mandate and says, we have to get our economy rolling. Here are some of the things that the governor of Mississippi said to CNN. He said, we have to get our economy rolling so that individuals can get back to work, and I think that's critically important. He said the fact is we've seen significantly reduced levels. He's referring to the drop in the number of hospitalizations and the number of patients in intensive care units. And this is where things get interesting. The governor of Mississippi said this, and oh, by the way, unlike President Biden, who wants to insult Americans and insult Mississippians, I actually trust Mississippians to make the decisions. They've proven throughout the last year that they can do so. And he said the numbers don't justify government interaction at the levels we're seeing in other states. Basically, the governor of Mississippi is saying, hey, stay out of it. Leave me alone. We know what we're doing. We don't need you to interfere and insult us. In fact, let's watch a segment with the governor of Mississippi on CNN. Let's roll the tape.
I don't think anybody's saying ignore the data. I think they're saying we're not there yet. And, we've been through this before. Back in September, when cases were roughly the same level they are now, you lifted Mississippi's statewide mask mandate then and relaxed social distancing requirements then. At the time, you said, quote, it was a very turbulent summer, but we've come out on the other side. But then cases began to rise again, and you ultimately went through an even worse surge over the winter. More than 3,000 Mississippians lost their lives during that time. We know more people are likely to get sick and die without mask mandates. That's what the science says. Why is this a trade-off you're willing to make, given the fact that we've really been here before?
Well, the fact is that in our state, throughout this pandemic, our approach has been to not only protect lives, but to also protect livelihoods. We have to get our economy rolling so that individuals can get back to work. And I think that's critically important. Let's talk a little bit more about the data. The fact is that at our peak, we had 1,450 Mississippians in hospital beds because of the virus. Today, that number is below 400. At our peak, we had 360 Mississippians in ICU beds. At this point, that number is below 120. The fact is we have seen significantly reduced levels. And oh, by the way, unlike President Biden, who wants to insult Americans and insult Mississippians, I actually trust Mississippians to make good decisions. They've proven throughout the last year that they can do so. And that's something that I think is very important. The fact is the numbers don't justify government interaction at the levels that we're seeing in other states.
And that was a reopening conflict. Not only a conflict between the federal government and states, but conflict between different states. And even when a state has a mandate, conflicts within a state when different businesses implement measures. And I think this some of this is bringing out the worst in all of us. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye.